Where's the phone? Hello? Hello?
Hey, welcome to What the Flick, everyone. Ben Mankiewicz, Matt Atchity, Alonzo Duralde would be here.
But he's stuck in traffic because the president's in town.
Yeah.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, thanks Obamacare.
Yeah.
So we will do this without him. It's a movie he saw. We will share his thoughts on it, at least a little bit. It's Oldboy, Spike Lee's movie. It is not like many Spike Lee movies.
Yeah, this is a much different Spike Lee movie. Not really a Spike Lee joint. This is the story about a guy, an ad man played by Josh Brolin, who is a raging asshole. Nobody likes him. He's terrible ex-husband, terrible father, terrible drunk. He gets rolled in the alley one day and wakes up in this motel room not knowing where he is, not being able to get out of it, and 20 years later he gets out, trying to put his life back together, trying to save his daughter. Let's watch the trailer.
The body of Donna Hawthorne was discovered. The prime suspect, Joseph Doucette, the victim's former husband and father of the surviving child.
Your father's been missing for 20 years. If I could somehow bring him here, do you think you could forgive him?
I could try.
Yeah, this is like one of the worst guys ever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one thing. I mean, it appears he's got some talent. He's not terrible at his job. At one point, he wins over a client, and then the client goes to the bathroom and
he starts hitting on the
he tries to nail the girlfriend, like in the restaurant, and doesn't just like say, "Hey, you look really nice." He's like sliding his hand up her leg, and yeah, he's out of control.
Yeah, he's what? Now this is based on the Korean film by the same name, and if you've seen this movie, you have a pretty good idea how this is going to go. Now, I would say this is a hard movie to talk about without spoiling a lot of things.
It's funny because in your description, it seems like you gave a lot away, but there's so much more that what you said is not really giving anything away.
Right. I don't think compared to what happens in this movie.
That's what I'm saying.
What I would say is if you're thinking about seeing this movie and you haven't seen the original, stop watching now. If you're on the fence about it and you want to go see it, yes, go ahead and go see it. Don't read a lot of reviews. This is one that I would say rarely. Don't read a lot of reviews for things because it's hard to read about this movie and not find out things you don't really want to know about. I think that this movie succeeds a lot on surprises that it deals with the audience. Now, again, if you've seen the original, you kind of know where the story's going. There's a couple of little twists and turns.
It's not exactly the same.
It's not exactly the same.
Conceptually the same, but not exactly the
Yeah.
same. Josh Brolin is pretty good in this, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he's very good. He plays a guy that, like, you can see, like you said, that he's got some talent, and you can see how he's trying to keep his life together. But God, like, he just can't stop drinking. Like, and he doesn't seem, as much as he may have like the talent to make the sale, doesn't seem, at least in the beginning, that all that smart a guy. And that might just be the booze.
Yeah, it might just be the booze, but I mean, whatever it is, like when Lance Reddick plays the client who he wins over, and like whatever, we don't get all of that meeting, but clearly, like that's a sophisticated guy, and he was good enough to make that deal happen. And also, there's a scene with his boss early on, who suggests, "Hey, you got to land this client, or our business is done." Right. Like so, meaning that the boss went to him because he's the guy. He's their big deal.
Closer.
He's the closer, right? So he's got some talent, but you know, Spike Lee does something, and it feels like many people may have seen this. I don't remember seeing it. It was a great way to convey how much of an alcoholic somebody is. When you go out in New York to grab a sandwich and a soda for lunch, and you're cardboard soda drink. He's putting the booze in that, so you're sipping the booze through a straw while eating your sandwich at lunch. Like somehow that really, I was like, wow, that guy is a major alcoholic.
Right.
Like I've seen putting it in coffee.
Right.
You know, but this seemed, this was really.
But getting an orange juice and the big styrofoam cup and making your giant screwdriver
and you're walk. And you're sipping it through a straw and everything, so you're with people in the elevator, like, hey, lunch, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. That was I liked that.
Yeah, this is a different kind of movie for Spike Lee. This is you know, I don't know that it's a great fit, him remaking somebody else's material. You know, this is a remake of a film which is based on a manga, and I don't know that this is a great fit for him. There's some stuff that's executed really well. Like one, you know, the long fight scene that's the continuous shot, I think is very well executed.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
You know, I think that there's some interesting stuff going on in here, but ultimately, I don't know that this is essential Spike Lee viewing.
I think that's right. I don't know that the director can't, you know, some of the great directors were able to move genres comfortably. And
No, and I don't want to say that
there's
Spike Lee
there's less of that now than there used to be.
No, and look, like Inside Man is one of my favorite Spike Lee movies. I think he can be really great. I think that this is just a different, I don't know, you know, Inside Man, he's got his opportunity to add some, you know, racial subject matter about race relations into that movie. And it's a very effective film. This movie is so lurid and so over the top and so just honestly out there with the way the story goes. I don't know that it necessarily, I'm not sure that I would call Spike Lee a subtle filmmaker, but I think that you need somebody who's willing to go a little bit more off the rails than I think Spike is.
I'll tell you what I objected to in this. And this movie, first of all, is going to benefit by the fact that I saw it like 10 days ago. We didn't review it when we sat down and did a bunch of movies last week, and there's been a little more time with it. Because I came out of the movie thinking, yeah, it didn't quite go for it. But I find myself talking about it and thinking about it, so apparently it resonated much more than I thought. So, but there, you talked about that fight sequence, which is kind of well done, but it's a farcical fight sequence. It is a, you know, it's very much a, you know, 1970s kung fu fight sequence. But the rest of the movie really isn't.
Oh, I disagree. I think the whole movie is relatively farcical.
But like there are, like you know, it's funny. I have the same objection here that I had to some extent in Thor, because this movie is so much. It's so much like basically the same movie.
Right.
So
they're two guys with hammers.
We have a fight sequence where a bunch of guys in what appears to be, you know, think of it as sort of the ramps of a stadium. Right. Like it's sort of like that. It's not a stadium, but think of it that way. And you have a bunch of guys who keep running at James Brolin at one point, and they all have, you know, they got baseball bats and crowbars and, you know, and ice picks or whatever. They all got, none of them have a gun, even though they're professional bad guys, right? And designed to protect a multi-million-dollar business that is threatened. So obviously that fight scene is supposed to be a little funny. It's supposed to be fun, certainly, as we see James Brolin try and get through 40 guys, right? But then the rest of the movie, the defense of that is orchestrated by professional guys who look like bad guys that you would imagine them being. Like therefore, that sequence to me took me out of it in a way that I'm certain he didn't intend for it.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know that I totally agree.
I mean, but if you got guns, then you would have needed to, like, use those guns then.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that this is the kind of movie, if you start pulling at the threads, things start falling apart really quickly.
Yeah, that just seemed like a big thread. I mean, I got the, you know, the structure of it, the principle of a guy locked up in a very cool space, by the way. I thought.
Interesting space.
Yeah, where they keep him confined is really neat what they did with it, and the manner, and I don't know, I didn't see the original, but the manner in which he gets his food and all that stuff, and how they sedate him when necessary. Right.
Yeah, no,
very cool.
I think there's some interesting stuff going on in this movie. I don't think this movie is a failure. I just think it's a weird mix of director and material. But ultimately, I think that this is a movie that if you're, you know, if people are on the fence about, you know, again, I think it's worth seeing, especially if you haven't seen the original. If you've seen the original, I think that that's going to get a different reaction from people. I think that this maybe isn't, you know, I haven't seen the original, but the people that I've talked to that have seen it are feeling a little unsatisfied compared to the original film. And I think that they, you know, I think you're better off if you haven't seen the first film.
Well, I mean, first of all, 99% of the people who see this movie are not going to have seen the first film. So did Alonzo like it?
I don't know. I did not talk.
I thought you talked to him about that specifically.
No, I was talking to him about Black Nativity.
Oh, all right. Oh, never mind. Fuck Alonzo. Fuck Obama.
Don't say that.
No, sorry. No, I mean, sorry. But the traffic.
Right. All right.
Okay, so yeah, look, I think I would have been around a 5 10 days ago. I'm not now. I'm going to pull it to it. No, 6.8. Like, I'm talking about it. I'm thinking about it.
Right.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's worth seeing, especially if you're a Spike Lee fan. It's worth seeing. James Brolin's good. And it's interesting, and it's full of sort of shocking moments. There's the big end shock. We can't talk about it anyway.
Right.
But it doesn't quite, like, that's one of the things that I'm thinking about, like, there was another solution that I keep thinking of. But anyway,
Yeah,
you
see,
should
I
see
disagree
it.
with you.
Yeah,
We'll-
no, so
we'll
you
have
make
to
a
have
good point
the
about it. I'd
spoiler
love to be
discussion.
able to have that conversation,
Right.
but we absolutely cannot.
Yeah, I'm close to where you are. I give it a 6.5. I think
Okay.
that I think there are better Spike Lee movies. I think there are better kung fu movies. I think there's better crazy over the top movies. This isn't a great. It's not a terrible mix, but it's not a great mix of material.
Yeah, it's not a great movie, but it's interesting. I don't think you'll be bored.
Yeah.
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 So that comes to a 6.7 for Spike Lee's Oldboy.